for us to use this width and this height property very well, we're going to need to understand one very simple concept, which now the box model. So where to be box model? Make we go back into our text editor, make we try see how we fit add box model to our code. So the box model, just know say everything with the HTML can be considered as boxes. So this go be box, this button go be box, even down to this text go even self the images go be box, down to our link go fit be box, our buttons go fit be box, our headings go also be fit be box, and you can even consider the button if you are that visual. You fit consider the button as a box. So wetin be the box model? For the box model, now way of designing our site or deciding how we want to design am, like say how we want arrange the layout. So make we look a very visual example for here. I already will come to this side, W3 School. I'm going to share the link in the description, which will give us a very brief diagram of how the box model should work. So the box model, they work like this. Let's say if you add a content for here, for your site, let's say you add a text, then inside this now the text where you go right here, then out of this text, the padding, the box, let's say the thing, like we said, everything that box, if you want space between the box now and the border, now that time you go come add padding between the text where we go write or the content or image or whatever, then you go add padding there. So it will give us padding between the border and the content. Then let's say you want the border. Now, of course, we've used border already. Then let's say you want to margin, the space out of this text, you will add. So this is a very easy diagram. In case you don't understand what in the box model be, or you don't forget how you go work with the box model, if you come this side, W3 School, CSS box model, and then you go get this diagram just to refresh your memory. So if we go back into our code, we could config they add the CSS box module. But there are certain things where you go need to understand about the CSS box module. So I'm going to explain them to you one at a time. The first one we say we go need to calculate what we want to do. So always think of our code as boxes. Always think of all our elements as boxes. So make we go back into our container here, then go back into the styles. And inside the styles, like I said, we go think of them as a box. So the way we calculate our CSS box module, now say whenever we write the width of an element, so we say width, and then we go say we want make the width be 300 pixels right now. So we say 300 pixels. Now, if you have 300 pixels, we go constantly calculate the box model, go calculate this margin for the size, it go calculate this padding for the size, and it go also calculate this width for here. So if we add the border also, it go calculate the border for us also. So that's how the box sizing model they work. So make we know wetin we dey use and how we dey use the box model, and make we understand them, so that when we go to add styles, so that when we go to add width and we're going to add the height, we can know how to work with it. So let's just add width as for a test. If you want to challenge yourself, I would say you can add a width, but it's basically the same concept. The only difference is we are talking in terms of height. So make we try add height. Now if you look here, we can say height, and can say we want make the height be 400 pixels. So we'll save out, go back into our browser, and you can see, say we don't add height. So because we don't add height now for inside this box now, this our button container, you can see the way it is behaving as the box model. So we have the margin around it. We can even add a border. So let's say we want this 5 pixel yellow border. So you can see, say we don't get the space now outside the box, and we get the which now the margin, which is this around it, and then this border, which is here, and then now we have our padding, which pushes our button inside, just like we did before. So the margin, border, padding, and then we have the content. Likewise, in our case, we have the margin, border, which is this, the padding is the gray background, and then the content, which is the button. So you can see how you need to understand the CSS box model. If you don't understand that, you go give yourself some very confusing catch-ups and you go feel regret afterwards. But for now, that's all we need to learn. I will see you now for the next video. Thank you.